Good evening, everyone. Welcome into Sober Dad Sunday. My name is Matt, and I'm glad you're here with us tonight. Uh, as always, this is a place to have, for me to share some thoughts, for y'all to comment, and just us to have some kind of conversation. You do not have to be a sober person. I am. I just passed 2.5 years of sobriety, and I'm actually gleefully awaiting 1,000 days, which is kind of cool. You don't have to be a dad, or a parent, which I am. And you don't have to be watching this on Sunday because the internet keeps things around forever. Been off for the last couple of weeks because summer is coming to a close. It's August. School's back in. My kids will be back in a couple of days, so we're back up and at them. For you that saw the promo that I put out earlier, I said Family Guy edition tonight. And probably most of you will be pleasantly surprised to know I'm not talking about the cartoon from Seth MacFarlane. Love that show. It's hilarious. I will not subject you to any of my impersonations of the characters or anything like that. No, tonight when I talk about Family Guy, not the show, but some issues that have come up and have been part of the conversation here in the United States recently because of the presidential election that is looming. There's a particular candidate for vice president of the United States, been nominated by his party, who has been saying some interesting things. I'll go ahead and tell you ahead of time, I'm not a huge fan of this guy. I disagree with a lot of stuff that he says. So when I heard the particular thing that I want to reflect on tonight, of course, I rolled my eyes, kind of tended toward the most cartoonish version of what he said, but I really did start thinking about it and want to try to give it an honest chance. That might even be going a little too far. Let me just dive in and let you see what you think. This particular individual has been talking about who it is that should be in leadership, who should be making decisions for our society. And he said very clearly that people that don't have children are somehow less invested in the future of our society, somehow have less care for the future, somehow have less compassion or empathy for others, things of that nature. And in fact, there is a kind of an intellectual movement on the right that would prioritize families, and they mean certain kinds of families. The kind of family that I have, het cis man, het cis woman, and children that are biologically both theirs, conceived in the most natural way possible. Well, sure, that kind of family. They prioritize that kind of family. And I love my family. My kind of family is not the only kind of family out there, nor is the only kind that is legitimate or good or beloved by God. But as I said, I'm not a huge fan of this guy. I'm not a fan of his party, not a fan of most of the stuff that he says. But because I want to try to be charitable, I did start thinking, okay, well, is there some merit to anything he says? Kind of, sort of. I know, for me personally, being a parent has made me a better person. Being a parent is the reason I got sober. I knew that I was not being the best dad to my kids that I could be, and I had to make a huge change in my life. And so, yeah, it's made me a better person. It has given me more insight into the nature of God. One of the probably the most common image for God in the Bible is that of a parent, because there's this profound depth of relationship. So if I'm being really charitable to this guy, yeah, I can identify with that, because being a parent has made me a better person. It's made me more invested in the future, not of just our country, but the planet itself, all of those things. Sure. However, or yes and, as my friends who do improv would say. Yes. And that's not all there is to the story. I would never Well, yeah, I would, but I try never to be so arrogant as to say, well, just because this is the case for me means it has to be true for everybody. Yes, being a dad has made me a better human being, but why would I then take the logical step of saying, well, if somebody's not a dad, they can't be a better human being? That's ridiculous. In the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous, I have encountered a lot of people who, and I've adopted the term as well, grateful alcoholic. Because of the stuff we've gone through, it's made us a better person. But would anybody in there say, well, I don't trust anybody who's not an alcoholic? I mean, maybe there's somebody that says that, but probably not. It's silly. I know people that have had really profound experiences, like being in the military or serving time in prison or going through great loss or all kinds of things. And those experiences and reflecting on them and learning lessons and the struggles have made them all better people. You bet. But would any of us go so far as to say, well, unless you have been through recovery or been in the military or been to jail or any of those things, you shouldn't be in leadership in our society? No, come on, that's ridiculous. I also know people who are parents who are, and I'm being judgmental here, pretty selfish, and are just reenacting their own childhood stuff upon their kids. And again, I'm not qualified to judge anybody, but has parenthood necessarily made them a better person? Again, God's to decide. Maybe the question is not whether or not you've had a particular experience or you've gone through a particular thing in life, like being a parent or going through rehab or anything else. The truth is that all of us go through stuff in life. You live long enough, you're going to have a lot of ups and downs. And those experiences by themselves do not necessarily make you a better person. It's what you do with them. Are you willing to reflect on the stuff that has happened to you and the stuff you've done and situations you've gotten yourself into? Are you willing to seek out the wisdom of others who can help you reframe and dig into and mine your experiences? Are you willing to learn from those things and accept that you are a human being? Are you willing to say, I'm going to learn from those things and do better on certain things going forward? Are you humble enough to look at the world around you and realize that there are lots of different people with lots of different experiences and all kinds of different stuff going on, and you are one of them, a sacred and beloved one of them, but only one? It's not the experience itself, whether it's something as profound as being a parent or anything else that makes you a better person, makes you somehow worthy or responsible enough. It's what you do with those things. Now, I have no idea if this particular candidate for vice president has done that kind of reflecting on the things in his life. Couldn't tell you. Don't know the man. Even if I did know the man, I'm not qualified to judge. I'm judgmental enough as it is, just in my own day-to-day stuff. What makes you a better person is what you do, how you learn, and how you grow with the stuff that happens to you and the experiences you have. Whether you're a family person, whether you have gone through any of these things. I'm a better person because I'm a dad, yes. I'm a better person because I've gone through recovery, you bet. But you don't have to do either of those things to be a better person. I know some, and to use this fellow's phrase, childless cat ladies, who are very, very wise people, who have learned from their own experiences and their ups and downs, and sometimes that's been from wanting to have kids themselves, couldn't do it for whatever reason, and have taken their stuff, their pain, their difficulty, and tried to do good in the world. I know some of those folks I trust a hell of a lot more than some people I know who have kids. Being a family person has made me a better person. It does not automatically do so. It's because I've done some work and I got a whole lot more to do. Okay, I've been ranting a bit. You can tell these things kind of get me going. But I want to ask, what about you guys? Do you think that having particular experiences, some really gives you more insight into life? Or maybe a better question is how? How have the experiences you've had, the ups and downs you've gone through, how have you utilized them to hopefully make you a better person? I'll drop that question down in the comments for those who are watching this later. And after all that, I'll sign off. But thank you, as always, for being present here with me during this time. As always, I wish you peace and blessings as you go throughout the daily ups and downs of your life. I encourage you to give your best, the most of your energy and passion and everything else, to be the best version of you for the people around you, because they're worth it. And give your best to being the best version of you for you, because you're worth it.